so don't forget. Evening, we're going to work on a mixed media uh, painting. It's just on watercolor paper. And it's 9 by 12 artist loft, 140 pound. So I thought I would start with some base coat with dazzling metallics, and I'm going to add a little bit. I pulled some papers to use. Oh, let me turn the sound off on my phone. That would be good. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, this is a recording of a live stream, so I'm talking to real people in the chat. But I pulled some grays and some pinks to use on her, and I pulled this napkin I thought I'd use, and this stenciled tissue paper. And I pulled some yellow for the center of the flowers. And we'll use dictionary pages to make the petals of the flowers. Set that there to the side. Right, a couple brushes. Hi, Kimmy. Hi, Shells. Yeah, I know I need a new laptop, but it's just something we keep putting off. I also want a camera. A better camera, I should say, than just my cell phone. So, I know the dog is going to be like browns and beiges. This is going to be pink down here. And then behind the dog is going to be green. So, because the dazzling metallics are a little on the thin side, I'm going to add a little bit of a regular acrylic to give it a little bit of a base. Hi, Ella. So this is just a little raw sienna. And I'm going to use Splendid Gold and Glorious Gold. Just use a little mixture. And this is gonna be my first layer for the background. But by adding that acrylic in there, it doesn't take away from the metallic luster of the paint, but it helps it be a little bit more opaque. I'll get a little better coverage, I think. All right, I'm gonna turn this upside down. And like, see here where I changed my drawing? I need to cover that, which this gold's not going to do, but this is just the first layer for this. And this is a commission for a friend of mine for her mother's birthday. It was going to be a Mother's Day, but she found something else that she liked. So she got that for her Mother's Day. But I also sold this to her today. I'm going to get a frames coming for a retirement gift for one of her coworkers. So that was exciting. What I want to do with this is I thought I'd make it look like a wallpaper using a base of the gold. And then, yeah, I'm in love with using the metallics, the dazzling metallics. I love the shimmer and then using the pit pins over them. Could you get that translucence from the India inks? Now I will say this paper has a smooth It's not textured like the other watercolor paper that I was using. So for what I'm doing now, that's really good. I don't know if I would like it as much when I'm watercoloring. We'll just have to see how it absorbs and takes the paint when we watercolor next. I say we like you're in here with me. Watercoloring. So I probably did way too much paint. But when you're mixing the colors, you got to have enough. And I just traced my outline using graphite earlier and a ballpoint pen. But all that will, for the most part, get covered up with paint and paper. Okay, so some of this is a little bit darker, so I want to get it over in the other area. Especially want to get some of that darker gold in here where I'm trying to. It's the one thing about the graphite is it's very, you can't, you can hardly erase it. So you have to be sure what you're doing. I should have just done it on tracing paper and then gone to the graphite. And I'm not going to worry if I go over the ear a little bit. Alright, so that's good. So I've got quite a bit of paint here, so I'm just gonna grab some sewing tissue, which is what I've been doing lately, and a stencil. And just stenciling with the sponge or spouncer tonight onto the tissue. And I do jelly print onto the sewing tissue. But this is a good way to use the extra paint. And it works really well in collage later. Hi, Christy. Yeah, I feel like we're together, Button. For just a moment, we're hanging out. You know, you're across the table from me working on your project and we're talking. Get what's on my brush off. Right, I'll set that aside. And I'll use it again in a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to let that dry. And I'm going to work on this down here. And I have some red violet. And I want to add it right to this same place where I had the gold. So I pick up a little gold shimmer. All good. And then this is the Dazzling Metallics in the Berry, which is a little lighter in color. Now I had a lighter color pink out, but I think this will be okay. But I'm looking for, when I put the paper on this, I'm looking for kind of a tone on tone. Get that little paw area in. Hey, Lynn. Yeah, I like the tissue. You can find it in, you can find sewing patterns in garage sales really cheap. Now, if you go into a thrift store, sometimes they're a little bit more expensive if they think they're vintage. Um, I had friends find all mine in garage sales and then just bring them to me. All right, so let's set that aside. We'll just get the tissue, and I'm just going to use this same stencil and the same spouncer. And I think I'll let it overlap a little over the gold so that it blends. I do like the cosmetic sponge better. I think it works. I hit the stick on this. It's not dense enough foam. I don't have as much paint down with this one. But I'll add to that later again. I'm just going to keep using the same stencil. This is a commissioned piece, yeah. It's a gift for a friend of mine's mother. And she has, it's not a pure Chihuahua. It's a Chihuahua and a Wiley. I don't know what Scarlet exactly is, other than a hot mess. Okay. I'll get that pink off because the next color I want to do is the puppy, the base coat for the puppy. Clean this brush too a little bit. Get a piece of paper towel. I was going to use this pink and it was too bubblegum. Just not that much of a fan of pink. Tay-Tay is not outside. My brother-in-law is here, and all of the cats are in the back bedroom and won't come out because we cleaned. I don't think she's outside. Let me see. Nope. She may come out later, but pretty much been hiding, girls, all day. Fat Fanny's under the bed. Gibson and Tay Tay were on the bed the last I saw them. They came out when Gary and Bob went on an errand. As soon as they heard the garage door and the door open, they ran again. But I tormented them all with the vacuum this morning. Yeah, she's mad because I'm doing a dog. Yeah. Yeah, not only did we vacuum, we mopped and used Clorox all over everything. So the house doesn't smell like Tay Tay. So that's grounds to be a little peeved. I haven't used this one, so it's kind of gunky in the lid. I'm just using the end of my brush to get some of that out. See if it... I have a big one of these, so I forget that I have this little one over there. Alright, so I'm going to do a little combination. I'm going to start light. So I'm going to add a little, this is a buttermilk, and I'm adding the white pearl. And I'm going to add a little champagne. And the champagne is the multi-surface metallic. And I do like it too. They're all Deco Arts. And I figured this would be a good base coat. And then we'll use the mink and the espresso to add some details. Without a acrylic in the base of it. Not an acrylic, but an opaque. It'll just be the metallics. I will say the lighter colors, you don't see this shimmer as much. And I am going to add some paper in the ear area. I'm not going to worry about the flowers so much because they're going to get covered up with paper. They're just a, hey, this is where it's going to go kind of area. I don't know what kind of flowers I want to do yet. Yeah. Clorox wipes removed the trace of the kitty smell. Mop the floors. So none of them were happy, and Mommy used the vacuum. We have a tile in our entire house, but the heater, and in the winter, the cat hair just gets everywhere. You think, oh, okay, I've got it all. But I found it under the bed, everywhere. Behind stuff. So since Gary was coming, we really went all out. Which means in 10 days, I can really start enjoying my vacation. Because I won't have to start with a deep cleaning. We just did it. Usually that's what every spring break and when we're off at the winter, we do like a big deep cleaning of the house. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and cover that area where the flowers are. And I made way too much paint. Okay, so I'm gonna set that aside. Get our tissue back. Hi, Ange. I have all of June, all of July, and then we go back the first part of August, usually. Like, I want to say last year we went back on the 5th or the 3rd of August. That's why we get out earlier than the other. This is not cut square, so you have to turn it till you find the side that matches. Alright, so I'm just going to use this cream. And I still have that purple in the, I didn't clean it. And you can tell that this paint is a lot more opaque, because I'm getting a heavier coverage. Get the extra off the brush. Okay. So, and I wouldn't necessarily, well, I might use that all in one piece. It actually is very pretty. It's hard to, probably doesn't show up on the camera very well. Yeah, I like teaching science. This year I taught math and science, which I like teaching math too. I mean, what I didn't like was teaching both, and I had the same kids for math and science. So one class I would see twice a day. But the good thing about this is this science is not tested. 5th grade math and 5th grade science are tested. So there's a lot of pressure to get them to pass both the math and the science. Okay, so now I think we need to let that dry. Actually, I'm going to do the green before I do anything to him. And what I'm going to do is take a smaller kind of Moroccan stencil pattern, and I have green. I have a green gold, and I have festive green for the dazzling metallics, and I have a Martha Stewart citron gold, and I'm just going to put a little bit of that. Let me use this little brush here to kind of mix that. And I just want kind of a greenish gold. I thought it would look pretty like wallpaper. And what I'm going to do is just take the smaller end of the stencil. Now, well, I lied. I'm not going to use that. I'm getting some dots that I don't like. So I'm going to grab a makeup sponge. It's already been used, but I'm just going to cut off the tip. Hi, Shauna. Just Cutting off some ridges so I don't have anything. See if that doesn't. And it still shimmers. Trying to do real girly colors for this. I should be using red because I actually know that's her mother's favorite color. But I didn't want it to be red, so I just decided we'd go pink and green would be good. Okay. It's not a perfect, it went under the stencil, but I really don't care for what I'm doing. It'll be just fine. And I just want to match up the pattern. I just thought it would be more interesting to have a pattern on the background. You recorded the first part, right, Ange? But not when we added the little girl? Or when you added the little girl? Yep, got dots on that one too. I'm just loading too much paint probably on my sponge. I might have been wiser to go with like a darker green in my metallics for the paint, but I used the fluid and I could have used probably should have just used a regular craft paint. Okay. I think that's pretty. And I don't even know if you can see the pattern. It's kind of hard on the camera. Let me turn this up. That was close. Let me turn that light. Let's get a glare from one of these lights. I think you can see it down here. It's kind of subtle. All right, let me set that aside. Get our paper again. And stencil. Use the pouncer. Now they got guitars out playing. I'm sure you can hear that. Some of that green off the brush and off the table. Hate to waste it. Can you hear the music? I can really loud. Yeah, you can hear it. He's using the big amp, that's why. We can hear you, and I won't be able to put it on YouTube. I'll get, yeah. Yeah. I'll probably get a sting. Well, no, but Nina, if you, he had the big amp on, and if I go to put it on YouTube, I'll have problems. And I don't edit these. I might have to edit this one. Yeah, I'm hoping it's faint enough that it's not a problem. Alright. This is what's going down here, I believe. And I thought this could be his little nose, or some of this. And I had this in my stash, and I might use some of it in the background, possibly. I'm not sure. I just like it so much. So, let's... I'm not going to use a whole lot of paper. Cut out my little shape for the nose. No, that's where I want that. And I was kind of leaning towards some of this up in the ear. So I'm just gonna cut a random kind of ear shape that I can put in both. And then I'm gonna tear it. So that it fits where I want it better. So I'm gonna tear this one. Alright, so that, I like that. Like I said, just a little bit of pink in those ears. It'll get somewhat covered. The flowers are gonna be, I guess the flowers are gonna be pinks. But I'm not sure. Just kind of winging some of this. Those extra pieces. We open the glue. Get rid of some of the paints that we've used and we're done with. And this will just show up as like a tone on tone, I think. And I think what I'm going to do is just take a pencil and just kind of trace where I want to cut it or tear it. And just kind of dry fit this. Okay. I'm not going to worry about it getting in this area right here. I might put a little piece from this over it. So let's get that glue out. Glue that in there. Get rid of a little bit more of that paper there. Now this one, it won't matter where I put the glue because it's not watercolor. And it all has to get covered before I use the pit pens anyways. Okay. Let's see. Let's put glue down here. All right. Put that on there. Now there's a couple places it's a little over. And I'll just tear it. Or wrinkle it back. And some of this will be hard to see on camera because like I said, it's really tone on tone. Okay, now I'm going to take a little piece that I trimmed with a point and put it right in that opening. Well, I'm going to attempt to anyways. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. Take like a little tip. Just a little overlap. That works pretty good. And once I coat it with the glue, and it goes translucent. Okay. And I'm going to trim the extra paper off. Because this is extra paint that I had that I stenciled when we were doing something else on tissue. It's like copper and red. Okay, I think that'll be good when that dries. And let's see. Trying to decide what I want to do with the flowers. I don't think I want to use those pinks because they're so close to the other pinks. Plus, then I have no choice. So I think I'm going to go to the dictionary. And I'm just going to cut some flower shapes. I think I need to do skinnier. And I'm just kind of moving in and out with my scissors. That works for there. That definitely works. And I'm kind of going to do like what I did on the parrot. Like that. Get rid of that one. Okay. I might put this over top. Like one of those is done, I may put another one on top. So I'm not going to get rid of that. So like I said, I'm just that definitely will go in there. Just trying to cover up my sketch, basically. A little bit shows, it won't matter. Alright, need to even do bigger. For that area right there. Mother's Day was a week ago well, that was in England, not in the US. Mother's Day is tomorrow. Or in other parts of the world, I guess it was. But not in the US. Okay, that looks like a good base. We may add a couple little flowers. So, yeah, I wasn't aware till this year that it was different. I don't know why. Well, I'm not a mother and I don't have a mother anymore. So I guess it just never, like if y'all were talking about Mother's Day, I just thought that was Mother's Day. And I didn't like really realize that they were different in the other parts of the world. But my mother passed away when I was 12, and Bob's mother passed away soon after we were married. And my stepmother passed away, it's been almost 2 or 3 years now. 2.5, I think. So it's not something we. Yeah, I don't until I see like things in the grocery store. I'm not even, I don't keep up with when it is here. I have never heard that, Dot. Never. That is really neat. I think I need to cut one more smaller. I have 5 now, but I'm thinking that if I cut, I might want to put like even with a pop dot is what I'm thinking. Like I might want to do one, like in fact, I need to put glue on this if I'm going to do that. I'm going to let that one sit, and I'm going to cut out another one smaller. I just figured it was a made up holiday so they could sell more cards, flowers, and candy. Okay, let me put glue on that. Alright, so those are going to sit over there for right now. Yeah, we don't either. We don't have kids. If we had kids, it would be different. But we don't have kids. So, a lot of those holidays are kind of sad. Or not as much fun without kids. But I wonder, Ella, if it originated for what Dot is saying and then it changed and evolved. And we don't even know. You know? Oh, Kenny, that's Ella. CME, that's Ella. Because I wonder if it didn't get commercialized and it didn't evolve and change to some degree. Okay, that is a pretty good base there. Let's add, I'm going to add some areas with the champagne. The other thing I might find before I do that is I think I want to stick some leaves in here. And I have some leaves from another, I've got too much stuff. sitting around me. I have some leaves left over from another project that I think I might, should have done that before. But like I know that that's going to have a flower over it. And let's see. Grab another one. In fact, I think what I'll do is have them glued to the backs of these flowers so that I don't forget. Just get a little more glue there. So that way when I add that on and kind of like that, get it in there. I think I like it on the same side. Kind of like something like that. And then, let's see. Put that there. And put a leaf in here. Then that can go right in there. And which die? Well, that's probably what all I'm going to put on there. So get those good coat on that paper so I can use the pip pens on them and they can dry. So now let's take my brush back. Guess I ought to move my Dr. Pepper. Or I'll be sticking paint in it. I've yet to do that. Okay. I really like this color. It's more the Chihuahua color. So I think I'm gonna lay a good base coat of that, or second coat. And then I'll use the markers and maybe a little bit of the espresso. Okay. I'm not worried about the eye either because it's going to get coated with white paint and a dark brown. In fact, I may stick a brown paper in there and then go over it. I think it's a better puppy color. Thank you, Allie. And this is a metallic too. Okay, a little bit up here in this ear. I'm even going to let some of this champagne go on that pink because it's got white on it, so it'll. And I'm not worried about the tips of the flowers because the flowers are going to be some color that's darker probably. Okay, that's a pretty good coat for her. Put a little of the espresso. Yeah, I think it's more her color. But I wanted to start light because I knew I could go darker. Alright, what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of this espresso and put it along the edges and then kind of blend it with my finger. Just kind of darken. Okay. Just darken this a little bit in here in places. Okay. And then I think I'm going to put a little bit down here. Okay, put a little darker right along here. And a little bit right in here. Just a little bit of darker right here on this edge. Okay, I think that's a good, yeah, I'm just trying to get, and then when I get in with the pit pins, we'll really see it pop because I'm going to get some gray in there and some more of the darker shading. I'll go to my color reference photo. Okay. I think, okay, gotta decide if I want to put a brown. I have a new pad that I think has some little browns in it that might be pretty. Um, it's not really a chocolate brown that I'm looking for. I don't think. Okay, that could be good. That could also be good. Oh no, this is it. That's the one, because I like the lights and the darks in it naturally. Okay. Just a minute and I'll cut these. I gotta pull it up to my face so I can see what I'm cutting. I think that'll be good. And then you do the other one real quick. Okay. Yeah, it's a floral, and it's got some blue in it and some light brown. The perfect paper. Let me throw this extra little stuff away. I'm getting too big of a pile. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is just take a strip of yellow and cut several pieces about the same size. And I'm going to cut what can be like a center. And then I'm just kind of doing a little oval or disc shape. Get rid of that. And while we got the glue out, glue his eye base in. Like I said, that'll get some other color on it. And I'm not worried about the fact that it's not a perfect fit. And then I'm just going to take these and stick them in the middle. Smaller one, put up in here. And over here. I'll put one in here. And then I need to go take these smaller ones to my flowers over here on the table. Makes them look more flower-like, I think. I may cover up some of it when I get covered up with paint, but we'll see. Okay, I think we are ready to coat. Yeah, I know it really bothers Dot when they don't have their eyes. So, let me switch to the bigger brush. And I'm going to give it a coat of Mod Podge everywhere that I might want to put the marker. So that it has something to slide on. Now, if you use the pit pins and you don't use it over gel medium, it will just soak in like a regular marker. They won't work the way I use them. The way I use them is they have a little bit of time that I can blend and work them over the gel medium, which is Mod Podge for me, but it would work with Liquitex or Goldens or any of your decoupage glues. And then once they dry, they're permanent. Now I do coat them when I'm done. I do put a coat of varnish on them because I don't want the surface to get scratched. Okay. Now the question before we move on is, do I want to add any of this to the corners? Or is it just too much pink? I mean, I really like it. That's part of the problem. I'm tempted to put it... I'm going to tear it. Thank you, Kenny. I'm going to let that dry a little bit. I'm going to tear some pieces to dry fit, but I want this to, before I touch the... napkin to the... Okay, that one. I don't know. I kind of like it. And then I think I want... piece that tears in down right in there. Because I'm not super wild about the background. It's pretty flat, so I think I'm just going to go for it. Okay. And I think it'll be kind of like on the rooster. It will add texture. I'll take that one up just a little bit. Then I'll just trim it off the edge. And what I may do is make the flowers not pink. You mean down here? Yeah, I'm going to put something in here, I think. I'll make this one. I think it needs... piece of green there. All right, let me tear some more. It needs something in this corner. Okay. I'll probably have to add a darker, hard line back here. Put some up across here. Okay. Let's do this big flower. Overlap in the middle. I'm just going to overlap it. Okay, and I'm going to put this piece over here kind of up against the ear. It's got a straight edge. And I want another piece that's got a straight edge. Mm. Okay, just getting some little pieces of pink here and there. It's a lot of pink. Flowers cannot be pink. I don't want to do along the bottom because I'm going to darken that and it's got a pattern on it. All right, let's dry it. And then I need to trim some of the edges. And I'm not sure what color the flowers are going to be. All right, keep going. That should dry that. I thought about blue or like a purple, but I also thought about orange. I may do just a variety of colors, like yellow, orange, purple maybe. Just trying to trim this off the edges. I like the napkin on the back because I like just, I don't know, it just gives it more texture. Might be too much pink, but like I said, we can get this to pop in here a little. And what we can do with the pip pins is we can try something and then say, oh no, we don't like that. All right, so I want to start with down here. And I'm going to start with a dark sepia and kind of blend it down. And kind of around. It'll just help with that edge. Almost like inking the edges with an ink pad. But I want to be able to still see like the print and the text in here. Kind of give an illusion of a shadow from the body, almost. Okay, so I like that. Okay, leave my fingers off. I'm going to use this in him, and I'm also going to use gray and a couple other different browns. Let's see how that goes. I don't think I need, well, the question is, what do we want to darken the edges with? We might want to do a combination of greens and pinks. So I'm going to turn this around. And wherever the green is, I'm going to darken those areas. Kind of gives it almost a painterly look. I'm going to leave a dark area in here. Kind of almost look like a leaf. Come in on the leaves. Okay, then I'm going to take the burgundy and I'm going to hit some of the areas with the burgundy. I'm also going to hit in this ear area while I'm at it. And kind of shadow that top. And bring it around the corner. I think I want to bring this one around the corner too. And I'll darken right here. Actually kind of like some of the red where the green is too. I said almost like inking the edges. Can pick up some of the bumps and lumps in the napkin. Can bring in and darken an area that faded or highlight something in the napkin and make it more intense. Okay, they're getting old. They're just out there talking about health tips and I do this and I do that. And right. I just kind of darken some of those areas of the flower and the leaves. Clean my fingertips again. Hi, Jean. Are you feeling better? I know you got some sleep, you said. At least when you're sick and you sleep in the chair, you can breathe. Because as soon as you lay down, it's so hard to breathe. All right. Need a different wet wipe. I think I'm going to work on the dog, and then we'll deal with the flowers. Find my picture. Okay. It's lighter around the eyes, and it has some dark right in here. So I'm really going to work on darkening in here. I'm going to pull down to it. And if I don't like right now, I don't like the lump there. Softened it. Just a little moisture and you can get rid of that. Dark coming out of here. lighten it a little bit. Soften it. I don't want to lose all that light area, so I'm just kind of tapping with a damp finger. Okay. A lot lighter over here. I'll get those whiskers coming out of there later. I'll come with a little gray in here with the brown. Okay. Darken that and pull it in. And there's actually like a brown area in here. All right, I'm gonna get the black brush tip. Of course, the black's one I touch. I think that black works better than the gray for darkening it. Okay. Come in with a little bit brighter brown. Tap that in. Go in here. Really darken that. Okay, I think that's a pretty good news. And I know it's, let me move the camera in just a little bit. Since we're done with the background. Should have done that earlier. All right, I'm gonna take this dark chocolate brown. This is and start pulling in on the eyes. let that dry, and then I'll come back and add more to it. Come in with some of the lighter brown. I want to add some black in here too. Just trying to get a real mottled brown. Let that dry. Okay. Come back to the gray. And I was working down here. Go back down here. And I'll take that black and darken that just a little bit. I'm gonna take the gray out. To the edge. I'm going to come up with a lighter brown. Some of that. And then I'm going to come in with some white. And work some white in there. And I think I'm going to do some of the same. Where this is much wider, is use this more golden. In fact, I'm going to come in on some of this and add the more golden color in here. And I'm going to flip it. Okay. Okay, I think I'm pleased with that. kind of like that. Coming up out of that. There. It's funny how this white is uh, a much different consistency. And it almost like takes away the um, gel medium, what it does. It doesn't go on. No, I've probably damaged it over time. I have more than one. I don't know where the other one is. I have to tap it more, but it's more chalky. I don't think it's working that well. Let's see. Let's try the other one. That's much more white. Alright, so I like that. Lighten that. The other one must have glue clogging it. Okay, and add some gold in here. It almost acts more like a paint pen. Okay. Okay. Let's come in here. I think I want to go with a little darker too on the ears. I lost some of this. Again, when we get the eyelashes and the whiskers, some of the white up in here. Okay, and we'll get some of the white up in here. This is not really defined, this area. So I'm just gonna kind of minimize some of it. Okay, I may come in with some white paint and whiten up some of those areas. We need Thanks, CB. I think the flowers will be cute when they're. When he's done. Okay. Just adding another shade of brown here and there. And I want to emphasize the edge of the ears here a little more. Okay. Think Night Dot. I'll put the video on a little later tonight. This is actually brown. So is this. I thought it would be more white, but it's really not. There's a little bit of a. If the tip of this gets dirty, I just work it on my hand. And then I'm going to use this gray. Work in. Not a whole lot of white in their eyes. Eyebrows. Eyelashes will cover up. A lot of that. We get them in. Okay. Let's get some of the black in there. Okay. Big eyes. Night Dot. Night Ange. Okay. I'm getting some of the paint off my hands. And I think I'm going to take a little bit of a dry brush. Take a little bit of white paint. And just kind of pounce in some areas that I'm not happy with. The white. It's not dark enough. It's not white enough. A little more. Okay. Let's see. I like the texture I'm getting with this brush. Okay. The flowers are actually yellow now that I'm looking at the photograph. All right. All right, and I'm gonna take a little bit of the brown. And a little bit of the gold. A little more of the gold. And I'm just gonna let this kind of giving it some texture. A little more gold. Just about done with him, I think. Right now, I think I want a little more white. Okay, get rid of that. I think that helped. It helped. No, the reference photo had flowers. She was, I don't know, maybe she was in a wedding. She was just too cute. Okay. So, I'm gonna, I still don't know what I want to do with it. It might be too tone on tone with the yellow. Let's do a flower in yellow. And there were daisies, but I'm not really doing a daisy. And I'm gonna take some kind of orange color. I think that'll be okay. Having a hard time getting a dark enough. There, that's probably better. Okay. Now the question is, do we want to do some purple mixed in with the yellows? Kind of like pansies? If we don't like it, we can wipe it off. So let's try purple. It's really pale. Just adding some color first. Okay, so here's... Actually, I'm gonna... Okay. I think that's okay. Night, Ella. And then I'll do another purple one here. Actually, I need to start with the pale. Purple again. And I think I'm gonna do the yellow over here. And then I think I'll do the two that sit on top of them, white. Yeah, it needed a contrast. So I'll do that the same. I'm gonna do, get a base on there. I'm gonna do the yellow orange the way I did this one, and I'm gonna do this one purple. And then I think what I'm gonna do is do these with a white, because they're gonna sit like here somehow. Actually, yeah, they're gonna sit in here, kind of like that. And I'll pop those white down on top of it. And I'll do white maybe with a little bit of a real pale pink to it. Or even a magenta. We'll see. Let's do this purple one again. And some more purple back in here. Darken just a little bit of that. Okay, I think that looks good. Yeah, I think it needed the pop of purple, of the darker color, and I think the pop of the white on top might be a real good thing. In fact, I'll probably go to the white brush and get whitewash on those. In fact, let me do that now. And then I'll either use like a little bit of magenta. All right, so let that dry. Hit those areas again with this other brush. Okay. Let's go ahead and put okay. Trying to get a little highlight in there. think that, yeah. Sometimes it looks better when I look on the camera than when I look up close. Okay, let's go back to the yellow orange flowers here. Okay. All right, let's go in. Let me do this color over here. Just do an assembly line. Okay, I get that yellow darkened in here a little bit. Darken that on that underside. All right, now I'm going to go to the wipe that off over here. Night, Lynn. I'm almost done. Okay. Put those up. Put the yellow up. Clean my fingers. I need to add some gold back in there. All right, let's get the white flower. I'm going to move that for just a minute. I'm going to try, this is a pink. Okay. Okay. It's actually going to be a pink, but mostly white. Okay. I think the leaves need to come down on that one. Cats must have decided that Gary's okay because you're out now. Tay-Tay's cheating on you with. Bye, Kenny. I said I am just about done. All right, blue, blue, and sign it, and I'll varnish it tomorrow. Okay, a little glue over here. Put a coat over that. Put just a little coat over some of this. Oh, we gotta add the eyelashes. I almost forgot. And the whiskers. Oh, we need it. The gel medium back there. Since I had that white. So, or it wouldn't have slide. Okay. Dry this real quick. I'm gonna turn the heat gun on real quick. Pick up. Looking for the, here's the black and the brown. Trying to find the medium tip. Of course, I can't find it. I used it last night. Oh, no. Okay. Let this dry. That is not down the paper. Got a bubble in it. I'll have to fix that later. All right. I'm going to take the medium. You know what I'm going to try? These are new. Okay. Actually, these are new. I just got them. I like them. Okay. I do want to take the black. I've got a little bit of white up here. That's migrated. Okay, let me turn this up. Okay. I'm going to take that extra fine. Barely want to put any. Okay. Happy with that one. Let me try this other pen that I need to put more in. I gotta turn it just to get the angle right. Take the fine. Okay. I'm gonna darken and intensify this. it's better right here. It's hard to get them even. Make a few of those heavier. Okay. Sign it right here. Put those all up. I like the new pins. They're called Precision Pins by American Craft. Okay, I think she's done. It's Stella. Um, is the puppy's name. This needs to be darkened. Right here. Thank you for joining me. Go with the black. Just darken it a little bit right in there. And I think I want to come in with the black down in here too. All right. I think she turned out cute. Night, Kia.